Okay guys, back down here, Electric Fetish Workshop. I'm getting ready to finish up the final touches, the final custom pieces for these guitars that I'm modding. Gonna finish, I gotta put the cavity plate on, and I'm adding a kill switch, so I gotta put a cap for that on there. So yeah, I thought I did that pretty well. Didn't show the work on that one, but yeah, that's all my work. Looks pretty good. The hard part I already did. I got the caps for these already. It was pretty simple. Just get basically a hole cutting saw. I used a drill press, but you probably just use a regular hand drill, and cuts it right out. The hard part is making the hole that's in there match what comes out of the hole cutting saw. So this is actually a 1 1/4 inch hole at the widest point, and this is 1 7/8 inch blade right there. So 1 7/8 gave me the 1 3/4 inch hole that I needed. So it's like 1 3/4 inch here to 1 1/2 here. There's a very small bit of room for me to put the hole in there for the screw to hold the cap in, but barely enough. I think maybe next, I don't know, there's not a lot of room right here to expand the size of this hole, and I wouldn't want to make the inside here too much smaller, so I think I'd have to roll with that on this particular guitar right here. So anyway, this perfect, huh? Placata. So now I gotta use the scroll saw to cut these out. This is not as easy. So cut on the outside of the line, and then as they say in the industry, starting to understand that you sneak up on what you need, because you don't want to try to cut it exact from the outset. You want to sand it down to where you really need to be, because this is going to give you a good, pretty good accurate line, but not perfect. And I'm not perfect on it yet. So combine those things, and yeah, I need to leave myself some margin for error. So here we go. Pro tip or amateur tip, always remember to close your cabinet drawers before you start making all this plastic dust. So I'm going to clip off a little piece so I get better access. I'm trying to save as much of this stuff as I can. I'm going to start making offering custom truss rod covers and cavity covers and such. So try to get really good at this, and then try to put some stuff on the market out there. A couple companies are already doing it, so maybe there's money to be made. Let's see. It's already going a little smoother than the first time. Too happy about it, so never too late to mess it up. Actually, all in all, feeling a little more confident on this thing. Yeah, not too far from what I was looking for. So far, I got a lot of room to go. I might take a second pass at it, but that's the general idea. And then you sand it down so it's perfect, and should drop right in there. Okay, well, took me a little bit longer than I had budgeted for, but came out pretty good. I'll say sneaking up on it is easier said than done, because you're much better off getting as close as you can to the right dimensions with your first cut. If you try to take a second pass on the scrolling saw, you're gonna have a bunch of like jagged edges where you stop cutting and start cutting again. And then you gotta sand that all down. So I gotta get myself better at getting really close, or just, you know, a little more confident at getting right there on the dimension, right there at the size you wanted, and then sanding it down. Because if you're gonna take a second pass with a scroll saw, you're gonna have a bunch of, you know, it's not gonna be an even cut across the way. So that's what I learned. But all in all, pretty happy.